Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Sharon, and the reason for this video today is I want to go through my week 1 check-in for my March budget. So I just want to take you over to my monthly spread for March, and this is what it's looking like. This is my key that I use to color code my expenses. So to start off today, what I want to do is lay down my expense stickers in my monthly view. And I already have them written out, my expenses for the first week. And I just wanted to mention, if you didn't watch my budget video, all of the stickers that you see here in my video, I have created, and they are available for sale in my Etsy shop, which I'll link in the description box below. So if you see anything that you like here today, please stop by my shop and I'd appreciate your business. Without further ado, I'm going to just flip over. So in my initial video is where I set up my budget, which is here on the first page, following my monthly layout. So I'm just going to lay out my weekly check-in on the page adjacent to it so that I could clearly look at my budget and reference back and forth. I kind of like to set it up this way because it gives me an easy view of my budget while I'm doing my weekly check-ins. So I'm just going to start out by just whiting out the little asterisks so that it doesn't come through. Oh, no, what's wrong with my whiteout? In the event that it comes through. That's a little messy. All right. Okay. And so, as I explained in my initial video, well, before I get to that, I just want to say this is my weekly check-in that I'll be using. And it's also available in my Etsy shop, and just my washi that I created for March. So I'm just going to start by laying that down. And I'll be weekly checking in for my personal, which I consider to be my allowance, as well as my grooming cash envelope. And I'll be also checking in for groceries and eating out, which I also combine together. And then I'll be doing gas and unbudgeted. Unbudgeted, if you watched my budget video, I don't budget any money, but I do like to keep track of any unbudgeted expenses. So I'll be tracking that on a weekly basis. And this week I split my budget up into 4 weeks so that the first 3 weeks will be 7 days, and then I'll have 9 days for week 4. Also, I talked about during my budget video when I was setting it up that I did not enter a amount for the 52-week challenge that I'm doing. So what I will do is at the end of this video, I will draw a number. So I'm doing the 52-week challenge where you save $1,378. But just to make it a little bit more interesting, I'm going to draw a number every week, and then whatever number I draw, I'll put that corresponding amount of money in for that particular week. But since I don't know what number I'll be drawing every week, I will add the money to the fund for all 4 weeks when I do my final results video for the month. So I'll keep track of everything that I've picked and then add that final number in on the last week at the end of the month, my final results. At the bottom, what I will do is tally up the results since there is no week 5. Okay, and my weekly check-in kit also comes with scripts, so you could lay them out however you like. I like to lay mine sideways for the weeks. There is no week 5 for this week. I'll just lay the result sticker over week 5 at the bottom, like so. So this way I have my 4 weeks up. They're a little bit crooked, but they'll do. I lay my 4 weeks down and then my results from the bottom. And so for week 1, I'm gonna do from the 1st through the 9th. For week 2, from week 1, from 1 through 8. For week 2, I'm gonna do 9 through 15. For week 3, I'm gonna do 16 through 22. And then for week 4, like I said, I'm gonna extend out for 9 days. And this one is gonna be from the 23rd through the 31st. And then instead of a week 5, I'll have my results. So let me just zoom in a little. So for my first category, as I said, I just call this one personal. And this one includes my allowance as well as my grooming cash envelope. And for my grooming cash envelope, I usually use that if I want to get my hair done, my eyebrows done, or anything like that. I just use that envelope for that. And my personal funds, I just use for whatever I might want throughout the month. My second category that I'm going to check in for is going to be groceries. But in this check-in as well, I include eating out as well, because I want to keep track of my eating out funds, because generally that's my first envelope to go. So I check in for my groceries as well as eating out in that category. My third category is gas, which I do not do an envelope for because I do have children and it's a little bit harder for me to go inside to pay for gas. So I do have to use my debit card at the pump. So I do use that for my gas transactions. And then I have unbudgeted, which I do not budget anything for, but I definitely want to keep track so that I can look back if I have some reoccurring charges that I continue to have in the unbudgeted category. That will remind me that I need to create an entry for that in my budget in the future. I have this set up now, but what I want to do is go back to my monthly layout and actually lay down the stickers for my week 1. And as I said, this is my key. And so I have quite a few grocery and eating out stickers to lay down. So first I have Chick-fil-A, definitely needs its own category. So on the 2nd, I went to Chick-fil-A and spent $34, which is easy to do, very easy. On the 3rd, I went to Chick-fil-A again, excuse me, and I spent $4. And I didn't mention it in this video, but all of my stickers are on removable mats, so if you do have to pick it up once you lay it down, it does so quite easily. So on the 4th, I went to Starbucks, so that was $10. I reloaded my app. On the 6th, back to Chick-fil-A. This was another $15. What I didn't actually account for is that we'd be going out of town for the weekend, which usually means that we spend a little more gas money as well as eating out funds, and I did not account for that. So I expected to go over this month for eating out. So on the 7th, back to Chick-fil-A again, and this was another $34. I'm sure you guys are seeing the common theme here with Chick-fil-A. It probably needs its own category. And so on the 8th, we went to Starbucks because we couldn't find a sit-down restaurant to eat when we were out of town. So we just opted to just buy overpriced breakfast food from Starbucks and hit the road. So that's what we did. So that's Starbucks for $50, which I cringe to even say that, but that's what it was. Just about $50 for Starbucks on the 8th. And then on the, let me go back to the 6th. On Friday, I went to Walmart and I spent $99 on groceries. Next up is my gas, which I check in for yellow. That's my color for gas, is yellow. I'm gonna start off with the 6th again for my gas, and that was $61. And then I pumped gas again on the 7th for $49 because we drove out of town. When we got home on yesterday, we pumped again for the week, which was $54. That was everything for week 1. So I'm just gonna go back to my weekly check-in and write it all down. So first, to start off with personal, I didn't spend any money out of the personal category. So I didn't spend any of my allowance, and I didn't spend any of my grooming funds this week. So I'm just gonna fill in for the amount spent is 0. So remaining, I still have $365 in this category. I have $100 in my allowance envelope and $365 in my grooming envelope because I had leftover monies from the previous month. And I always roll over my grooming funds because I know that sometimes there'll be a service or something that I don't normally get and I'll have to spend a little bit more. So sometimes I try to conserve that money so that way I can afford some of the other things that I want and stay within my budget, because that's another category that I can go over very easily. So for my groceries and eating out, I'm going to go back to my monthly view so I can add it up. So for Chick-fil-A, it was $34 plus $4 plus $10 plus 99 plus 15 plus 34 plus 50. So it's $246. And I'm going to minus that by $550, which is the total for both categories. So I have $304 left in this category. Then we have gas, which I started off on the 6th with $61 plus $49 plus $54. So that's a total of $164 that I spent on gas. In my gas category, I budget a total of $250. So I have $86 left. And then in my unbudgeted was 0. And I don't budget anything. So this is what my weekly check-in is looking like for week 1. I wouldn't call it ideal because I'm like blowing through. My eating out money is pretty much gone, but I have done okay with groceries, and that's because I did a fair amount of shopping toward the end of last month. So I still had a lot of meats and things like that, so I didn't have to go to the store for that. And so this is what my weekly check-in for week 1 is looking like. I'm gonna have to slow down during the next couple of weeks to make sure that I stay within budget, but I'll keep tracking, and regardless of what my reality is, I will share it with you. So let's just go and check my envelopes just to make sure that I am staying on track. So in my allowance envelope, I have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. And so I should still have another 265 in my grooming cash envelope, which makes up the difference for my personal. So there's 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 20, 40, 60, 80, 200, and 20, 40, 50, 65. So I do have the entire $365, which remains for my personal category. Next is my eating out cash envelope, which I've done some major damage, and it has $1, $2, $3 remaining. So we definitely won't be going to Chick-fil-A or Starbucks for the remainder of this month. My grocery envelope, I don't put all the money in my grocery envelope to start. I usually like to give myself half of the money for the beginning of the month, and then toward the end of the month, I don't restuff my envelope. But what I do is I just use my debit card for the remainder, because usually I'm just filling in things because I already have the major items in my refrigerator or in my pantry. So when I did my budget and stuffed my envelopes, I did $200 for the first 2 weeks. So in my envelope, I should still have the remainder of the $200, and then the $200 that I'll allocate for next paycheck. So I spent $99. I should have $101 left in this envelope. So it's 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 101. So my cash envelope are actually on target. And like I explained, my gas I don't take out, so I have $86 left to spend, which means I'll have to make sure that I'm driving to work and back, and that's it, to make sure that I stay within budget. So keep your fingers crossed, because I will. Now that I have all my stickers laid down and I've already tallied everything for my first weekly check-in, I'm gonna just come back to this page and check them all off, just so it's clear that I've already accounted for these in my weekly check-in. Okay, and so I'm also going to check off on my mortgage payment, because that has already gone through. Okay, so this is what my first weekly check-in is looking like. So what I want to do now is, like I explained, I'm just opening back up my budget. And so here's my 52-week challenge, which I put on my variable side without an entry, because I want to choose my number every week, and then whatever that corresponding number is, that's what I'll be putting into my 52-week challenge at the end of the month. So here's the mason jar. I just got a mason jar, and what I did was, since I wasn't filming when I started the challenge, I went from weeks 1 through 8 in order. So my 52-week challenge already has $45 in it from the first few weeks. And so I set it up in the back of my planner, just on a regular page, and I created a label for it, which says 52-week savings challenge. And here is the week. And so I didn't highlight or anything the weeks that I have passed, but I think what I will do off camera is highlight or mark in some way the weeks that I've already put in. I'm just gonna shake them up and see what I pick. All right, I have one, and the number is number 10. So that means that's $10 so far that I have that is going to be allocated for the 52-week challenge during this month. That's all I have for this video, but I would like to say, if you enjoyed the content, please like, subscribe, and leave me a comment down below if there's something else that you would like to see, or you'd like some additional information about the 52-week challenge. But other than that, that's all I have for you for this video, and I appreciate you stopping by. I'll see you in the next video. Bye now.